Today's objective is multiplying and dividing rational numbers, specifically decimals. We've already done a multiplying and dividing rational numbers with fractions, okay? And this is review, so here are the rules to remember, but we're not going to do a lot of examples. Multiplying. The number with the most number of digits goes on top. So if you have something like 1.2456, there's 5 digits in the digits are the individual numbers in your number, okay? All right. Do not line up the decimal point. You have to do this for adding and subtracting, but you do not do it for multiplying. Then you just multiply your numbers, okay, ignoring the decimal point for now. Once you have your answer, you go back to the factors, the pieces in your problem, and you count the number of digits after the decimal point in each of them. Then, in your answer, you count over from the right, so going backwards, this number of digits, the number you counted up here, and place your decimal point when you get to the number. I know that sounds a little weird. It's hard when you're talking about it, but it's really easy. So let's say we're multiplying 2 65 hundredths by 13 hundredths. I'm going to also say it 2.65 times 0.13 to make sure we're in the same place. All right, so there's 3 digits in this number, 2 digits in this number, so I'm going to put the 2.65 on top. All right, now let's multiply. 3 times 5 is 15. Put down the 5, carry the 1. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19. Put down the 9, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. That's it for the ones column. Now for the tens column, I put down a 0 because I'm not in the ones column anymore. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. Draw my line, add my columns. Notice how everything is neat and ordered in the columns. 5 plus 0 is 5. 9 plus 5 is 14. Carry the 1. I'm going to add that to the 6, so I can say 7 plus 7 is 14. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, we're not finished because we count how many digits are after the decimal in this factor, 2. How many in this factor? 2. That's what I wrote here. So 2 plus 2 is 4. So now we have to start in our answer from the right, go over to the left 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I always like to add a 0 if it's at the end of the number. Okay? So 2.65 or 2 65 hundredths times 13 hundredths gives us the answer 0.3445, or if I were going to read it, 3,445 ten-thousandths. This gets a tiny bit messy, huh? Let's do one more. 0.063 times 1.5, or 63 tens, hundreds, thousandths, 63 thousandths times 1 5/10. This has 4 digits. This has 2 digits, so the bigger 4 goes on top. Although that's not a bigger number, okay, but there's more digits. So now I'm going to multiply. 5 times 3 is 15, carry the 1. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1 is 31. Now that's it with my ones column, so now in my tens column I put down a 0. 1 times, notice I didn't multiply by zeros because it would just get me 0, okay? 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 6 is 6. I'm not going to multiply by 0 because that's zeros. Now I add 315 plus 630, 5, 4, 9. But I'm not finished because I have to count the number of decimal places to see where to put the decimal in my answer. This has 3 digits after the decimal point. This has 1, so 3 plus 1 is 4, which down here I wrote 4. But I only have 3 numbers in my answer, okay? So I'm going to get another color so it stands out. I have to add a 0 because if I move over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's going to take me here. So the answer to this problem is 0.0945, or 945 ten-thousandths. Now let's do dividing. All right, dividing with decimals review. You cannot have a decimal point in the divisor. Okay, it's against our division rules, unless you're using a calculator, in which, who cares, right? You can easily fix this, however, by multiplying both of your numbers by 10 or 100 or 1,000, depending on how many places you need to move the decimal point to the right. Okay? So remember, we can have division problems like a fraction, because that is a division. Fraction is division. So here's our example. 48 divided by 1.2. The number you are dividing by, that's your divisor. All right? Oh, we have a decimal in the divisor. Of course we do. Otherwise, why would we do this problem? So I rewrote the problem. I need to move this decimal point over one space. So that's the same as multiplying it by 10. Because every time you multiply by 10, you're moving the decimal over once. By 100, you're moving it over 2 places. By 1,000, you're moving it over 3 places. So you have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 10. So that gives us 480 divided by 12. Now you have some choices. You can simplify this first if you would like. You can rewrite it with this symbol, so it would be 480 divided by 12. Or you can just divide it like it is, okay? I want to reduce it to make the number smaller, because when you have smaller numbers, you make less mistakes. So I have 480 divided by 12. I know that 4 will go into both of these numbers, so I'm going to divide. 480 divided by 4, 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 80 20 times, or you could say 4 goes into 48 12 times and add the 0 back. 4 goes into 12 3 times. Now, I am going to reduce again, but I can just divide now. I'm going to say 3 goes into 12 how many times? 4. And then add my 0 back. Okay? So my answer is 40. So 48 divided by 1.2 equals 40. Well, what if you have a problem that doesn't look like a fraction? What if you have a problem written like this? Okay? 24.9 divided by 0.003, or 3 thousandths. Well, this is the divisor. Whatever you're dividing by is the divisor. What I like to do is write it as a fraction and fix the decimal point, and then divide. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this as a fraction, so like it's up there. Now, how many places do I have to move the decimal over? 3 in the denominator, and that's what we care about. We don't really care about the numerator. So I have to move it over 3 places, so that means multiply by 1,000. 3 places, 3 zeros. That's how you remember it. So whenever you multiply, you're moving the decimal over that many places as a zero. So 29.4 times 1,000, I'm going to move the decimal over 3 places. Well, I move it over 1, and then I have to add zeros. So I have 24,900 divided by, move this over 3 places, 3. Now for this one, I decided I don't want to. I have all these choices, again. I don't want to divide it. I'm just going to rewrite it like a problem like this, okay? So, you know what, maybe I'll just do this problem with you. Sorry. You don't want to be that prepared, right? All right, let's do this problem together. 3 goes in, now I just do my division. 3 goes into 24 8 times. 24 take away 24 is 0, but I can still bring down a 9. 3 goes into 9 3 times. Now here's where kids make a mistake. They don't pay attention to the fact that they're not done with their problem because there's 2 more zeros. They just say 83. No, that's wrong, okay? If you're good about lining up your numbers, you see really we were dividing this into 900, so it would have to be 300. Okay, so if there are remaining zeros, you still have to put zeros up above them to get a correct answer. So the answer to this problem is 8,300. That's all I'm going to do for now. If you'd like more help, you can come in individually, but since this is review, I didn't want to make it a really long video. That's it.